Good morning. Welcome to your Saturday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. And my brain wandered off there. I was sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for it to be the appropriate time to start. All of a sudden, I'm daydreaming and off in Nowheresville and looked at the clock, and it was almost quarter after. So here we are. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, bringing you a really cool card today. I was so excited when it was actually on the bottom of the deck. Good morning, Lucy. Welcome. Glad you're here. You're the first one popping on today. This card was actually on the bottom of the deck, and as I was shuffling, I thought, ooh, I wonder if this one will pop up. And actually, a different card popped up, and I felt this vague sense of disappointment. And I thought, well, that's interesting, just being the observer, right? So then I had a thought, and I muscle tested that second card, or the card that popped up, was actually one for me personally. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. Welcome. And the one that was on the bottom of the card deck initially is the one for everybody today. So I knew that one needed to be shared, but I wasn't quite clear on the order of things. So anyway, we have a beautiful card today from the Earth Magic deck by Stephen D. Farmer. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. I think you're going to like this card. It looks like somebody snuck past me while I was yakking. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome to you as well. Glad you're all here. And so the card that we have today, I think, good morning, Gwen. Welcome. Will be a wonderful card to have us do a little guided imagery first, and then when you're in state, then read the card to you, because I think it will feel deeper, mean more, carry with you better. So if you'd all like to close your eyes, not if you're driving, take a nice deep breath in and out, just letting yourself settle into the moment. In and out. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So we're going to do a little guided imagery right off the bat. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome from down south. Glad you're here. So just breathing deeply and easily, bringing your attention with every breath right into the present moment. And the more you listen to the sound of my voice, the more deeply you go into this beautiful guided imagery we're going to do right now. So just breathing deeply and easily, abdomen rising and falling, chest barely moving at all. Okay, nice deep belly breathing. All right. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're in a beautiful meadow. And you can hear the birds singing, and you can see the butterflies flitting around, and you can see the wildflowers kind of waving in the breeze, feeling that breeze against your skin and the warmth of the sun shining down, just enjoying being in that meadow. Kind of an open space. You can feel the airiness of it. Feel the essence of that meadow, what that feels like. You are a part of it. You're standing there in the middle of that meadow, feeling that energy of the meadow, but knowing that we're going to go on a little bit of a journey. So I want you paying close attention to how does it feel to be in that particular meadow. What's it like to be there? What does the energy feel like within your body? How does it impact you? Then you're going to begin to walk, because you notice that you're on a little bit of a path. It's a dirt path, but it's clear. And you can see that that path is leading you towards a forest that's on the edge. Good morning, Tira. We're doing a little bit of guided imagery here. So you're walking from being in a meadow toward a forest that's at the edge of that meadow. And again, I want you paying attention to your sensations. What does it feel like to be in that meadow? To be watching the butterflies flitting, feeling the sun shining down on the crown of your head, walking through the warmth of that meadow. But heading for the forest. Heading for the forest. And as you get to the edge of the meadow, again, I want you to pay attention to how does it feel to walk into that forest. Feeling the energy of the trees around you. The sun no longer shining on the crown of your head, because the trees have a canopy that cuts that out for the moment. So now I'm going to read the card, and from this space, in the forest. You might want to find a spot to sit at the base of a tree. Maybe there's a nice mossy area you want to sit. Maybe there's a boulder that's kind of flat that you want to sit on, or a tree stump. Good morning, CJ. We are walking through the woods right now. So now I'm going to read the card to you. I'll show it to you when we're done, but it's called forest. And the word that's associated with it is breath. Breath. So here we go. As we make our way across the meadow to the thicker parts of the forest, there's a subtle shift in the sensations in the body. One that might initially be barely perceptible, but soon becomes undeniable. It's nearly impossible not to take deeper breaths. The richness of the forest's oxygen, given freely and generously from the trees, the standing ones, to us, is a natural exchange for the carbon dioxide we release every time we exhale. Further, the animals of the forest participate in this exchange as well, in what is one of the most miraculous and remarkable collaborations between plants and animals that serve to help each other live and thrive. Good morning, Janine. We're just doing a little guided imagery here. So if you want to close your eyes and imagine that you're in the middle of a forest, we've walked through a meadow and into the forest, and we've paid attention to how does it feel energetically different to be in that forest compared to in the meadow. The ratio of this oxygen-carbon dioxide exchange has been in balance for millennia, but has been changing quite dramatically in the last several years as carbon dioxide levels have been rising. Yet there are many parts of the world where we can still enjoy the refreshing and revitalizing effects of an afternoon, enjoying the sights, sounds, and smells of a walk in the forest. Through prayer and action, we can express our gratitude to these tree beings for the many gifts they provide, not the least of which is contributing the very air we breathe. Things are different after a walk in the forest. So I'd like you to just be in that forest, paying attention to that energetic exchange with the trees through the breath. You breathe in the oxygen that the trees have created. You breathe out the carbon dioxide that the trees need to survive. The carbon dioxide levels have been rising because we deforest. When we cut down the trees, there are fewer trees to take in that carbon dioxide, the gift from us, and turn it into oxygen, the gift for us. So imagine solutions. Imagine solutions to this imbalance that we human beings have created. Clearly, an example is plant trees. Plant trees. I always thought it'd be wonderful to have a piece of forest and put a chair in the middle and just sit there. And imagine planting trees. When we were at the retreat center last weekend, there were oak trees dropping acorns all over the place. And had I had a place to plant them, I would have brought some with me and planted these beautiful oak trees. Again, the best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree, today. So imagine that. When the maples are throwing their helicopters all over the place, planting some of those. My grandfather did that. He was a farmer. Everyone laughed at him when he collected this group of helicopters, but he went and planted them. And by the time of his death, those trees were, 30 feet high. So never underestimate the power of planting a tree. Watched a lovely video maybe a month ago talking about, it was called Kiss the Ground. And the gist of it was, instead of digging up fields to plant, which disrupts the soil and destroys the trees, work within the plant life that grows. When you just allow fields to do what they do, you can still plant in those fields, whatever it is, corn, soybeans, whatever, but you don't dig up the soil. You merely move it aside a little bit, plant the seed, and put it back down. So the vegetation around it stays there, helps cool the ground, helps sequester carbon, helps us get back in balance with our oxygen carbon dioxide ratio. So imagine this as you're breathing. Your breathing is part of this cycle. We're an intimate part of this cycle. So just breathe in again, being right there in the middle of that forest, pondering your intimate connection to the trees, pondering how you might deepen that connection. Maybe it's spending more time with the trees, maybe it's planting more trees, maybe it's learning things about trees. Maybe you're not even all that sure what's the difference between a deciduous tree and a coniferous tree. Maybe you look that up, learning about the trees. Maybe you look at which trees are most likely to release oxygen and bring in carbon dioxide. Lots of things you can do. Just feeling the energy of being there among the trees in that forest. What's the difference between a forest and a woods? Maybe that'd be an interesting thing to look up. But just breathing deeply, enjoying being in that forest. I'd like you to put your hands on a couple of trees. Just wander around a little bit off that path. Put your hands on some of the trees. Notice if they feel different to you. There were 2 large trees, maples, in one part of the forest that we were in last weekend, and one they had named Grandmother, and the other was Grandmother's sister. And it was interesting how people felt an affinity for one tree or the other. Not that they didn't love both the trees, but they felt more of an affinity to one than the other. So just notice, as you feel those trees, how they feel different to you. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to bid the trees farewell and turn back around, walking out of that forest back the way you came, back out into that meadow. And again, notice the energetic shift that you feel when you're in the meadow energy versus the forest energy. Isn't that interesting? And isn't that something we tend not to pay attention to? As we move through different biomes, do we allow ourselves to experience how they impact us differently? If you're in the park, if you're in one park versus another park, if one park has a stream and the other one doesn't, if one park has more deciduous trees than the other one, do you notice those differences in terms of how it impacts you, how it feels different to you? So being in that meadow, enjoying the warmth of the sun on your body again, smell, maybe some of those wildflowers are sharing a beautiful smell, watching the bees buzzing around, hearing the birds, a couple more nice deep breaths right there. And then when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes, coming back into your body, and then opening your eyes. So now I'm going to show you this beautiful card that we have for today, Forest Breath. And I love the array of colors. Kind of suggests it's fall. Looks a little spring-like too, but there's a variety of colors. There's another page. Thank you, Cindy. I'm so good at skipping that. Yeah. So this is the message part. This is the message part of what you're meant to take with you. Your breathing is too shallow. Although it may feel natural, it is an unhealthy habit that causes this shortness of breath. When you subconsciously shorten your breath, no matter if this is habitual or triggered by some event or circumstances, it activates certain physiological signals that prepare your body for fight or flight. Yes, so when you're breathing shallowly, it triggers your brain to think that you're in danger. Good. Oh, wonderful, Lucy. Right there with the majestic maple. Fabulous. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm glad you have a forest. That is awesome. We all need a forest, don't we? Adopt a forest program. That'd be great. Another conditioned response to perceived danger is to hold your breath. This is your survival response, although it does not serve you to do so. The other thing that oftentimes we do is if we injure ourselves unwittingly, we hold our breath. If you drop a can of soup on your foot, you hold your breath. Until you start breathing again, the pain can't work its way through. You're stuck in it. You're stuck in it. So breathing is one of the main ways that we heal stuff. Okay? Everything moves on the breath. How many times have you heard me say that, right? So breathe. Inhale deeply, regardless of your concerns, worries, or problems. Then let it go. Next, allow yourself to breathe a little deeper and slower a few times. Remember that every breath you inhale is a gift, and every breath you exhale is a gift. Well, I kind of already said that, didn't I? The forest is a clear reminder of how this works. So again, there's a picture, and if you look down toward the bottom, you can kind of see maybe where you've moved from the meadow into the forest. How cool is that? How cool is that? So, oh, and again, I'm going to show you the other side of the card where you have the tree on the top and the roots on the bottom, and it's almost like a reflection. We have a forest on Deer River up north. Yes, fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Just having time with the trees can be huge. Trees have a different voice there than down here. Good awareness, good awareness. Different kinds of trees. If you're standing in a birch forest, that feels very different than standing among the oaks and standing among the maples. And sometimes there's huge stands of one kind of tree, sometimes because we've planted it that way, sometimes just because it's developed that way. But sometimes there's forests that have a mix of a lot of different kinds of trees, conifers, deciduous, etc. Those are interesting to visit also. But again, going around and putting your hand on the various trees and paying attention to how does it feel to be near that tree. Again, different people will have different affinities for different trees. It's just amazing, I think. Just amazing. So, a couple more breaths, thinking about the trees, being present. You like hardwoods? Yes, yes. Especially, I like them in the fall when there was a little bit of rain and the leaves are on the ground and they're spicy smelling. Love that. And in the spring when the buds are first opening up, that smells wonderful too. I'm a smell person. So today, I'd like you to ponder trees. I'd like you to ponder your intimate relationship with trees, and I'd like you to expand it. Yes, forest bathing is fabulous. So spend some time with the trees if you have the opportunity this weekend. The more we attend to our environment, the more we would feel a part of it and the better we take care of it, right? Have an awesome day. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.